Hey everybody, Mike here. Today's step-by-step how to draw tutorial is Sonic the Hedgehog. The image on the screen will be the reference for the drawing we're going to be doing today. If you have any suggestions for other things you want to learn how to draw, any other characters, go ahead and put that in the comment section. I do take requests. Now you're going to need a piece of paper, a pencil, an eraser, very simple tools. So let's get into the drawing. We're going to start by drawing a circle for the head in the upper center of the page. Keep it loose and sketchy. Now we're going to draw the action line of the body. So from the center bottom of the head, draw a curved line that goes out and towards the bottom of the page. And we're going to draw a line representing the second leg, so take that down. And now we're going to draw the body, which is basically a bean shape that kind of juts out. We're going to draw the right arm. So take a line down from the shoulder, kind of bend it up, kind of like a V. From the left shoulder, we're going to draw that arm down and to the right. Draw a circle representing his hand. Well, we've got the basic shape of his body, and we're going to start adding a little more detail in. I'm going to draw his face by bisecting a line down the left side of the face, and his eye line go across the head, left to right. Let's draw a circle to represent his right hand, and at the bottom of his legs, we're going to draw a little shape to represent his shoes. We're going to do that for both legs. Now in this pose, his chest is kind of puffed out and his back arches. So we're going to take the line in. Now we're going to draw two lines to represent his legs. So along the guideline, draw a line on either side representing the thickness of his legs. Now we're going to look at drawing his snout and his mouth area. So take a line across the byline and curve it around, sticking out just past the circle of his head. And then curve the line down towards his chest. Draw a little nose at the end of that projection. For his eyes are very curvy, so we're going to curve a line up from the snout, up and over, around to the back side of the mouth. The right eye kind of fades in the background, but draw a curved line up for his brow, and curl his eyebrow over the top of the eye. And we'll just put a little oval, vertical oval, to represent the pupil and the iris. Now the top of his head comes to a point in his fins. Feel free to start erasing some of the guidelines as we start putting in some final line work. Keep everything loose and sketchy still at this point because we're going to clean up as we go and solidify and darken the final line work. We're going to draw the thickness of his arms, so around the arm guideline, the left arm, draw two lines on either side of that towards the balled up fist. If the location of your line work doesn't look exactly right, feel free to erase and draw again. So this is a trial and error to get the line work in just the right spot. Now draw the light colored area on his chest. It's in the shape of a bean, so start from the bottom and curve it up towards the mouth area. If your hand smears the pencil on the paper, use the fat eraser to clean up a bit. I'm using a light HB lead, which is a softer lead, and it tends to smear as I run my hand across the page. Start making final lines darker. The legs here are starting to look like in their final form. Sonic has a couple of fins that come off his back, so curve a line behind his left arm down towards his feet, and then curve it up again. Overlap the lines and make two of them. So let's start working on his eyes. Let's start solidifying and hardening the lines on the curves of his eyes. One of my tips of drawing is use your hand and rest it on your paper to get more pen control, and then you can easily drag your pencil towards you in a curved motion to get these curves. Always feel free to turn the paper when you need to. As we're adding more detail, the lines are getting more and more solid, and a lot of the sketchy lines are getting erased. That's why we start really sketchy, really light, and erase the guidelines as needed. Sonic's eyes are continuous, so they don't necessarily have two separate eyeballs. So think about that when you're creating the brow. Even though his brow is furrowed down, his eyes are joined in the middle. The eyebrow curves up and over and fades behind the eyeball. Add in the iris and the pupil, and pay attention to the direction of which way he's looking. His actual eyes are real long vertical ovals. See how his eyes are shifted to the right to make it look like he's looking to the right of the page. Now his mouth is a little curved line up in the right corner of his snout. Draw like a crescent moon shape on its side for his mouth. And I put a little line in there to show teeth. So let's work on his right arm. We've got his guideline for his arm bent at the elbow, We're going to draw 2 lines representing his thin arm. There's not a lot of detail here, so just follow your guideline. Once you draw the 2 lines, you can erase the guideline. Now he's got 3 fins on his head. Follow the curve of his head. Just think of drawing a shark fin coming to a point. The guideline we did for the circle for his head is what we're using to project the fins off of. There's going to be 3 of these and they overlap each other, each one getting lower as you go down the back of his head. Again, feel free to turn the paper to get more control of the curved lines you're drawing. Rest your wrist and hand on the paper to have more control of your pencil. You can add Sonic's little tail off the back side of his leg. Just a slightly curvy triangle, long triangle, comes off his back. Now the hands are probably the most difficult of this drawing to do. He's got gloved hands, so his wrists die into the end of the glove. Got a curved line there to start the glove, and I'm going to work on his thumb first. He's got his hands in basically a fist, so we're going to draw a vertical oval representing his thumb seen from the front view. We're going to draw his fingers that curl around into the ball. So start at the top, and we're just going to layer a couple of lines for his fingers. His hands are actually quite large in relation to his body, and I think I drew him a little too small. Now we'll work on his right hand. There's one issue I always have. It's trying to locate the drawing on the page so that stuff doesn't go off the ends, and I failed here. His right hand, the thumb's actually sticking up, and his fingers curl over. So extend the thumb towards the face, and then his fingers are basically long, elongated oval shaped. Again, I drew it so that it goes off the page. What I should have done is slightly shifted the whole thing, the whole drawing, a little to the right. And we're going to start working on his feet. Curve a line to where the leg goes into the foot, and then curve some lines around representing the sock wrapping around his leg. And let's go back to the top of his head and add his ears in. They're basically curved triangles that project above the eye. And then the one on the left fades kind of behind his eyebrow and reconnects back to his head. So another curved triangle on the inside of his ear. Draw another triangle representing the inside of his ear. This one connects at the bottom. Once you draw his sock, we're going to work on the shoe. The shoes are basically elongated wedges. So from the bottom of the sock, just curve a line down. It's basically a wedge coming off the sock. It curves around and up, comes to a slight point on the right side. Make sure it's flatter on the bottom because that's where it's connecting with the ground. And then draw a second line representing the sole of his shoe. It follows the same line at the bottom and comes up to the point, curves back up and around. We're going to curve a line up and over the top of the shoe, down towards the sole, representing the white stripe. Make it look like it curves and contours with the shape of the foot. We're going to do the same thing on the right foot, except this one projects off to the left. The right foot is more of a side view, so it's a little longer than the left foot. So go do a final cleanup of the rest of the lines, erase any extraneous guidelines that you see or any smudges. So here is the final pencil drawing of Sonic the Hedgehog. Hope you found it easy to follow along. Let me know in the comments how yours turned out. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and if you are dying to watch another how to draw tutorial, go ahead and check this video out right here.